everybody. If anybody is watching this, can I get you to say something in the chat? That would be appreciated. This is meant to be interactive. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm not sure if this is going properly. Okay, apparently there was somebody there. And now they're not. Yeah. Hello. See, somebody came in to join us. How are you doing? This is meant to be an interactive group tarot reading. So if you have the ability, if you would like, you can ask me a question in the chat and I'll try to answer it for you. This is a first YouTube live streaming. Have some growing pains to work out, but hopefully by next time we'll have this all squared away. Just type it in here. Unfortunately, without any questions to answer, there isn't much of a reading involved here. I could discuss my philosophy on tarot and things of that nature. I'd be happy to. I do have other videos I haven't uploaded yet that kind of goes into that, though. I guess I will just talk for a moment about my philosophy of tarot. Maybe we'll get a question coming in soon. A lot of people, when they think of tarot, they think of fortune telling. And coming to know possible future events is definitely one part of the tarot. But I say possible because the future is not something that's written in stone. It's ever changing, it's ever evolving, because we make countless decisions every single day that affect how any number of things may work out. So the tarot is really just kind of a guide. It helps us make the best decisions possible so that the outcomes that we want to have may come to fruition. That's why I don't often go very, very far into the future, just 3 to 6 months max, because anything much longer, and there's countless possibilities, and the tarot can show you a possibility, but the accuracy can often drop off after a few months. So instead of really telling you exactly what will happen, the tarot can show you what could happen if things stay on their present course. Now, if you start making changes, then that could be different, something different manifested in your reality. So the best way to use the tarot as a tool is to come to understand what you can do to achieve the desire you want, instead of trying to figure out what's going to happen. And that's where I get to come in and help people. It's something I really enjoy. I'd love to help someone right now. If we have any questions, I'd love to answer them. I do have a few decks in front of me. Got my favorite deck. It's called Tarot of the Bastard, because they took several different old decks and combined them into one coherent deck. Rather beautifully done by 7 Stars Tarot, to give credit where it is due. I'm not sure if there just aren't any questions coming in, or if I'm having some more technical difficulties at this time. Unfortunately, hard to do a group reading without a group or any questions to answer. Tell you what, so why don't I just pull a card for general energies, just kind of surrounding everybody at this time. Now, when you do something like that, of course, everybody's particular situations may differ. There's a lot of different people in the world, and a lot of different energies at play here. But let's just see if we can get a general what influences can we expect here. If I can hold on to the cards. So at this moment in time, I see the 6 of Swords. So that tells me that this is a time for us to be considering doing away with things that no longer serve us, to move away from a difficult circumstance, to go towards clearer waters, to leave our troubles behind, to start anew, afresh. And that's always a nice thing to be encouraged to do. We often can get bogged down in troubles. Life throws a lot of things at us all of the time. And so it's nice to be reminded that we don't have to carry around those burdens with us constantly. We get to choose what we give our energy to. And if we don't like what's going on in our life, just do our best to change situations, usually, by focusing on only the things we can control. We can't control everything in the world. We can only control how we respond to it. And sometimes you may want to feel like to just curl up into a ball and to let the troubles overwhelm you. But that's not a very productive thing to do. So the goal there is to look for the things that you can control, to look for the things that you can do to change the situation into a more positive one, and to seize the opportunities that are available. And I'd love to get into more detail with that, but I would kind of need a two-way communication for that, to get into specific details into what someone might be going through and how they can specifically change their situation. Oh, and forgive my shirt. I did not have time to iron it, which I can see very clearly needed. So just building on the last thing that I pulled, it was about moving away from a troubled circumstance and creating things anew. I'll just see if the tarot happens to have a follow-up to that. Generally speaking, about a best way to go about doing that. Obviously, it has to be very generalized for this particular situation. That card literally jumped out of the deck here. And it's the Ace of Cups, which isn't a very big surprise there. The Ace of Cups is all about newness and freshness, and cups are completely about emotion. All right, so the best way to move away from a troubled circumstance, as I touched on a minute ago, is by focusing on what you can control. The very first aspect of that is your emotional response to the things that are going on around you. Once you get, oh, hi, Sissy. So first thing is to control your emotional responses, and that will help you keep a calm head and look for the things in the physical world that you can do differently to help get a change of your circumstances. Well, Sissy, do you happen to have a particular question for me that I can answer with the tarot for you today? Wonderful. All right. If you'd be so kind as to ask away with your question, I'll be happy to pull some tarot cards for you and see what the tarot has to say. Oh, okay. I will certainly take a look at that. Give me one moment. Well, the card I drew here is the Fool, but don't despair. There's a couple of different interpretations for this, okay? Now, the Fool, it's got a bit of a odd name there, but it's really all about new beginnings. Okay, so if this is something that you maybe you haven't done before, if this is the first time that you've sent in things to an artist, that could indicate that this is the beginning of a path for you. It could also indicate the beginning of a relationship with the with this artist. The Fool is all about newness, and all about things to come. Now, okay, first that makes a lot of sense. Now, in that case, what I'm going to want to do is I want to pull another card or two and try to get some more information for you. The second card I see is the Chariot. Okay, so the Chariot is good. Now, obviously, the first thing that jumps out to my mind looking at this card is that there's a lot of forward progress here. Okay, so it's kind of like full steam ahead. Also, the Chariot is all about balance. Okay, so there's a big yin-yang thing going on here, as above, so below kind of thing. So we've got movement, we've got balance. So it looks like, at least initially, we got the Fool telling us that we've got a fresh new start here, and the Chariot saying that things are going to be moving forward. So that's definitely a good indication that you'll be likely to receive something positive when you hear back. Now, one more card, because I like to do things in threes with the cards here. All right, and we see the Justice card. Okay, and that's good. So what that tells me is that you can expect fair dealings in this particular arrangement. And that can be a concern sometimes, I think, whenever you're talking about intellectual property. Okay. Well, from what I'm seeing here in these three cards, again, the Fool, newness, things coming up. Chariot, definitely things progressing. Also means victory through hard work. And gosh knows, writing songs has got to be hard work. And we see Justice, which is fair dealings. So you'll get a fair deal out of it. Everything will be worked around to everyone's benefit. So that definitely implies to me that you'll be hearing back in the positive with this. But at the very least, it will be something that propels you forward and you're treated fairly in the process of. And that in itself is a good thing. Oh, well, the tarot has the news for you there. I'm very glad that it had an answer that you appreciate. Oh, you're very welcome. I don't know if you heard my little spiel at the beginning of the video here, but I just kind of, oh, hi, Rush. Would like to reiterate for anyone that might be rejoining us, most people do think of the tarot as fortune telling, and most assuredly. Okay. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, just give me one moment, Raj, and I'll be happy to answer your question. Just want to make sure y'all know when it comes to things that are in the near future, the tarot is very good, obviously, at showing you the most likely course of action there. Now, what I don't usually go beyond about 3 months, because more than just telling us what's going to happen, the tarot just shows us what's most likely to happen on our current course in life. Now, if we get an answer we don't like, or something's coming up that we would rather not have happen, the future is not written in stone. It's always in flux based on all of the decisions we have to make every day. So the best thing that the tarot can do for us is actually show us what we can do, what impact we can have on the world and on the energies at play to bring about the desire that we want. So sometimes if people get an answer and they're like, oh no, that's not what I want in life. That's okay. The tarot is not something that's, the future is not written in stone, and the tarot is not telling us that we are doomed. It's just showing us that if we keep doing what we're doing, this is the likely result of that. And if we'd like to change it, the tarot, all we have to do is ask the tarot what we can do within our power to act differently to bring about a different result. Okay. So having said that, Raj, what can I help you with today? And I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Okay. I'll do my best to answer that question for you there. Okay. Just think of the best way to phrase that for the tarot here. It can sometimes be difficult to ascertain someone else's feelings, but I'll be happy to take a look as to how this person and their feelings towards you will affect you and what you can expect from interaction with them. Okay. Okay. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this here. I'm sorry, it's getting a little hot. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. Okay. And without knowing the specifics of the situation, I'll just start talking. And if you feel like you would like to enlighten me any more while I'm talking, that'd be fine. The more information I have, the better I can help you. All right, the first card we got, and it can look a little scary, but don't be too afraid. Okay, we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. Ten of Swords, it does look very scary. What it does mean to me that there's not really any life left in that particular situation. It has run its course to its end. Now, that is to say, where you are currently, in your life progression and where this person is currently in their life progression, there's not really anything left that y'all have to offer each other. So now if y'all start changing, then there may be more compatibility there in the future. But at this moment in time, what the tarot is saying is that there doesn't seem to be any more life left to the situation. Now, I will flip over 2 more cards and see if that is just currently right on only in this moment, or if that, is something that may ring true for the near future as well. Okay. The next card we see is the Hermit. And the Hermit is a card of introspection. It's where the answers that we seek are within us, and we just kind of have to listen to our instinct and intuition. Now, sometimes our intuition can be overridden by our desire or our emotion. So the best thing to do is to just be, kind of meditate on it in quiet and try to keep your heart even and calm, and kind of the truth will really come to you in that way. Another thing that strikes me with the Hermit card in this particular situation is, the Hermit is all about being alone and in solitude. Okay, so combine that with the Ten of Swords here, and it seems to kind of be pointing towards, for the time being at least, that not being the best situation to have yourself in with the X there. Okay, and the third card, we see and the Ace of Pentacles. Typically, in this deck, it's the Ace of Coins. All right, and I do see a progression here. Okay, we start out with the end of a situation here in the Ten of Swords. That situation is done. It is lifeless. And then we see a period of introspection, and I'm now seeing this as kind of being a period of kind of mending inside. Okay, of regrouping and getting your feet underneath you. Okay, doing a little healing and coming out of it a little bit better off. And then we see the Ace of Coins, and coins represent the material realm. So when you come out of that, then we see you've worked on the inside rebuilding, and now you can rebuild out in the material world, in the everyday world. So that does tell me that it is a moving on at this time. Did that answer your question? I hope so as well. Oh, yes, you're welcome. I'd like to thank y'all for showing up. It is a lot more fun for me with questions to answer, and I do enjoy being of service. Well, thank you. If you and down in the description. Oh, yeah, sure. We've only got a few people here, so I'm going to be here for a few more minutes, and I'm happy to answer other questions. At the end of this, I'll also be leaving a link to my Yelp page. So if anybody would like to leave a honest review there, that would be cool and appreciated. Feelings about you. Okay. Oh, and I can ascertain that in so much about how it affects you and your life and situation and interactions with you, and let's see what the tarot has to say about that. Okay. All right, the first card we get is the Page of Pentacles. Okay, and pages are typically about messages and things. So you might have to help me out a little bit here about how that might apply to your particular situation. I don't know if that might, in some instances, it can represent rumors or gossip and things of that nature. Okay. Well, thank you for that information. All right. I see. Okay. Let me do this here. Okay. All right. I drew a clarifying card to go along with the Page of Pentacles. So that's about messages, all right, and communication. And we see the pentacle there representing the material realm. And then I drew a clarifying card, and we got the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is about inaction. Okay, so what this is telling me is that the current situation, it's not that there's no life left in it like in the last reading, but in this one it's that there's nothing you can physically do at this moment to bring about change in that particular aspect of the situation. Now, it also tells me that there may be some longing there. All right, you see him looking out expectantly at the ocean. He's waiting for something. So that's telling me that the time isn't currently right to reopen communications, and then that might be from your side or his. That's not clear at this very moment, but that there is maybe an expectation that that will occur in the future, or at least a desire for that to occur. All right. Now the next card, see the Five of Wands. Okay, y'all are very good friends. The Five of Wands, as you can probably tell, is a little bit of a hectic, chaotic card. Okay. I'm starting to see what the tarot is saying here. Yes, all right. So, yeah, so it's saying that right now it's not the best time for communication, even though we do see the longing for it. But if you rush into it, it looks like you're likely just to maybe be continuing that fight, or there be a new one. It wouldn't be a very positive experience for either of you at this moment in time. Now the third card we see is the the Nine of Wands. And you can tell in this particular image, you see the person there looks like they've been through the ringer, and they have. But the good news of this card is that that period of turmoil is over for the character in this card. For this person, they've built up the appropriate amount of defenses behind them, so they're able to move on from that. So what that tells me is that it's kind of going to be a little bit of a long road to mending y'all's relationship, but in the end, if you're staying on this path that you're on, and the other person does as well, then it looks like ultimately you will be able to mend that relationship. It is something that I'm getting the feeling it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight, and it might be that the thing that's being waited for is just to everybody cool down and let calmer heads prevail. It's hard to say. But the good news is that ultimately, at the end of the day, there is hope for mending of that relationship. Wonderful. I'm very, very glad I was able to give you an answer that you understand and appreciate. Sometimes tarot gives us an answer and we have to think about it for a while. Like, what does that mean? Oh. And I hope y'all are also enjoying the imagery of the cards as much as I do. Like I said, this is known as the Deck of the Bastard, made by Seven Stars Tarot. And it's my favorite deck. I just love it. I don't get paid to say that. I just really like this deck. Thank you. I do think they are beautiful cards. I noticed we have somebody here who's joined us who hasn't said anything. If you'd like the opportunity to ask a question, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. If not, if Raj, I hope I'm saying that's somewhat close to right, has another question, I'll be happy to look into that as well. Meantime, I just want to shuffle my cards here. I got into tarot. I started reading professionally in 2012. So the years are starting to pile up now. But I got into it because I really enjoy helping people. And when people have situations come up in their lives and they just need, need some guidance, need some influence, what better to go to than the universe at large, which speaks to us through any method that we deem, and the tarot provides a wonderful vocabulary for it to express itself through. So that's why I'm here with you guys, to try to be of assistance, to get to use something that I'm good at for other people's benefit. Well, if nobody else has another question, Sissy, did you have another one? Whoever asks one, I'll be happy to answer it to the best of my ability. Okay. Ooh. I just realized I forgot to grab a bottle of water. Hello, Katinda. Katinda, I do apologize, guys. I'm very bad at pronouncing some of these names. I hope you forgive me. Sissy, that's interesting. I'll see if I can answer that for you. I will try, but when you start talking about other people's what it is they're feeling and true in their heart, that's kind of a little bit of a gray area. But I will do my best to take a look at it for you, in as much as how it affects you and your journey in life. So. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I got the Six of Swords here. Okay. I'm just going to answer this question for Sissy, and then Katinde. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong again, but then I'll get with you there. What I find interesting, Sissy, about the Six of Swords that we pulled here is that when I first started the live stream here, I was just kind of talking in general and didn't have any questions, and I pulled a card just for kind of a general influence for everybody. And this was the card, that came up. So I thought that's an interesting synchronicity, I feel. So this card is all about moving away from a troubled circumstance and towards clearer waters, smoother sailing. So in regards to a relationship, what that could mean to me is that it's somebody who is potentially looking for an easy route. Okay. Now, as far as that means if he's afraid of falling in love, I can't really say to a certainty. But I can say that there's something there in the situation that is some type of difficulty for him, or a perceived difficulty in his mind. And that's something that he was looking, something that he wasn't looking for, that he wasn't really interested in. But as far as exactly what he was thinking, I'd have a hard time pinpointing that. Just some type of perceived difficulty that he was looking for something easier. Yeah. Sorry if that particular answer is not satisfying. Katinde? And please let me know if I'm saying that anywhere close to right. Musa? Musa, okay. No, thank you. The remaining months of the year. Oh, you're welcome, Sissy. Remaining months of the year, we're in October. Okay. That's a good question. I like that question, Musa. I'll pull one card for representing one month for the rest of the year. We're halfway through October, but let's see what we have here. And it might be getting about time for me to switch decks, because after so many questions, sometimes the energy starts to get a little muffled in the cards. So let's see here. Okay. Okay. Our first card up is the King of Wands. All right, and this will be talking about the rest of October. And that's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and pull another card to go with it there. And I get the Four of Swords. Now, these are both of the rest of the month. What I find really interesting about that particular pair, Musa, is they kind of have incompatible energies in a way. So the King of Wands is somebody that is always rip-roaring, ready to go, doesn't take any more break than is absolutely necessary, just always on the go, a man of action. And then we see that combined with the Four of Swords, which is about taking a pause. Okay, so I just got to ask you, in this month, do you feel any particular inner conflict about whether you should be on the go or taking some time off? Hello? Okay. I'll just keep going there. Okay, so another him on the go. Okay, so what we can see here is possibly a little bit of a roller coaster where for whatever reason you're on the go, but things kind of start to slow down for you, whether that be of your choice or just kind of how the situation dictates things. Maybe you just kind of run out of things to do, or work slows down for you, or something of that nature. So this month kind of maybe a roller coaster for the rest of the month of stop and go and stop and go. Or it could be the tarot kind of advising you, we see that you're always on the move, but don't forget to take care of yourself, and don't forget to pause and take a break now and again for your own well-being. All right. Coming up for the month of November. See the Queen of Wands. Very interesting. There's a lot of emotion cards here. All right, so I'm sorry, that's cups. I'm sorry, his the little vial of perfume caught my eye there. All right, so the Queen of Wands is also action oriented, but the Queen of Wands usually internalizes action a little bit more than the King. The King is external. He is out there in the world going and doing things and getting things done. The Queen is, I don't say plotting, but internal action is all about planning. Okay, so if it is the fact that we've got a roller coaster going throughout the month of October, something in your situation might change from always going. You might end up with a little bit more time on your hands, and then that might leave you with some time to plan, to think things through, and to think about other things. And okay, the card that combines with that is Judgment. Okay, so Judgment's a very interesting card. It can mean a couple of different things. Waiting is not an option for you at this time. Okay, so that could be what leads you to the planning stage. All right, if things start slowing down and that's not something that you feel is good for your life at the time, that's what could lead you to the planning stage. And then we see judgment to go along with it. Now, judgment can be referring to the solid use of judgment during the planning process, being very analytical and finding out the next best move to take to help you through the situation. It can also represent the fear or the action of feeling like other people are judging you at that time. Okay, so we all feel that way a little bit, especially maybe among certain friends. This me really around family, maybe your mother. I'm not saying anything. Hi, mom. But so judgment is going to kind of be a theme in the month of November for you that kind of spurs on and goes hand in hand with the Queen of Wands and the planning stage there. And then in December, which I find this very fascinating, you ended up with 3 court cards. And here we see the King of Pentacles or the King of Coins here, which is actually a really good thing. That means that whatever it is that you were doing throughout October and November starts to pay off. It worked. The planning comes to fruition and things go well. Okay. And let me throw another card in there. And that is combined with justice. Justice tells us that things work out fairly for all parties involved. Okay, so it may take a couple months for you to get there, but ultimately you seem to arrive at a positive conclusion, the thing that you've been working for. And I will reiterate, as always, the future is not set in stone. This isn't absolutely completely guaranteed to happen. But if you take the actions that you were going to take anyway and do the things that you were going to be doing throughout this process, then this is the end result that you could expect. Is there anything, Musa, that you need me to clarify for you? Anything that wasn't clear? Or anything that didn't quite resonate with you? Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that helped you. Do you have any other questions that I can answer for you? Champagne, hi. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today? Good. Glad to hear it. Do you have a question for me? A three-part question. Yeah, I guess technically that kind of was a three-part question. Musa. If we got somebody new here, I'll be happy to answer the question from Champagne. I had intended to stay on until about 7, so this might be the last question I'll take for today. Okay. All right, so the way I will phrase that to the tarot, and this deck is getting a little bogged down. I'm going to switch over to my Hanson Roberts tarot deck. Okay. All right, so the way I can phrase that to the universe and the tarot here is, what can you expect from your interactions with Mario? His intentions, yes. All right, we'll take a look at that in so much as how it affects you and your journey here, which definitely that does affect you. So just okay. Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay, well, the first card that I drew for you is the Nine of Cups. Okay, and as a reader, I'm sure you know, the Nine of Cups is about fulfillment of desires, about your wishes coming true. So I find that interesting, considering what you're describing to me as somebody that maybe is a little hot and a little cold. So let's pull some more cards and see. You know that can happen a lot of the times. Difficulty reading for yourself. It's not uncommon at all. Uh, I do have some methods for doing it. Maybe later we can discuss that. Might help you out. But let's pull some more cards here. Hmm. Okay. So we got some good news here. Depending on how you look at it, I guess. All right, we got the Nine of Cups. That was the first card. All right, that's about fulfillment of desires, dreams coming true. What you want being brought into you. And the next card I see the Ten of Cups, which is the desire ultimately being fulfilled. We got a great situation going on here, a lot of happiness. Okay. Uh, and then we see the third card is the Eight of Wands reversed. Now the Eight of Wands upright, it's going to be smooth sailing, no problem. But it's reversed. So these things are possible in a relationship with Mario. With Mario, there, you can have, that which you're looking for, and it can be tangible, but it does not look like it will be a very, very easy path. Um, Not saying it's going to be extremely hard, but there's definitely going to be some bumps in the road. Yeah. So the relationship itself, can mature, it can grow, it can bring happiness. But it's not too surprising to see bumps in the road, because what relationship doesn't have some bumps in the road? Uh, Let me pull one more card for you, and just advice on how to get on the same page with Mar. I think maybe that's kind of what you're looking for. Oh, okay. Well, that could cause some issues. I'm kidding, but let's see. Okay. So I pulled one more card because there's the disparity between what you're telling me about and what the tarot, has to say. So about how you guys can work on getting from where you are to what the tarot says is possible. And we see the Seven of Pentacles, the reap what you sow message. So just a lot of hashing it out, just a lot of working on bridging the gap between where you are to where you'd like to be, putting the work in. Yeah. uh, not easy, because we got that reversed one, Eight of Wands there, but it is definitely possible, very tangible, that could be the result that you achieve. So I guess really the question to ask yourself, maybe you can meditate on, is, is that teaching? I can see that. Oh, you're very welcome. Okay. We do have 5 more minutes. I can take one more question. Jalissa? Uh, so you want to know more about a new love who you haven't met yet. Am I understanding that correctly? Okay. Let me do some shuffling and I will see if I can help you with that. The first card we pull for you is the Eight of Cups reversed. Okay, now the upright, the Eight of Cups is about moving away, just being kind of really fed up with where you're at in your life at the current moment, fed up with a particular situation in your life and saying that you're done and moving away from it. But we have this reversed, so that's going to lead me to ask you a question. Jalissa, sometime in the last couple of months or so, has that been true for you? Was there something in your life that you had to walk away from because it wasn't right for you? And yes, okay. I ask that because when I see it reversed, I get the feeling that what it's talking about is something that's already occurred, and you're kind of dealing with that, but not like currently in the moment, like something that's already passed. So we see leaving hardship behind. Okay. Hmm. All right, and again, we see the Eight of Wands reverse there. That did show up in the last reading, but as y'all can see, I shuffle the cards very well. It's interesting when tarot does that. So that tells me that maybe you're not having the easiest time in your life at the moment. Maybe there are some kind of some speed bumps, things that aren't quite going exactly the way that you would like it. Would you say that's accurate? Okay. Okay. Now the next card I see is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is a very loving, nurturing person. And just because it's showing up as a queen does not mean we're necessarily talking about a feminine energy, since or a female. Uh, so what we're seeing here is that you've had a hard time in the past. Okay, you're currently going through some difficulty, but then we see this very caring, nurturing energy, some showing up in your life. Okay, and all right. This doesn't always happen, but I drew another card just to get some more insight, and we end up with another court card being the King of Cups. All right. So that kind of tells me that there's a bit of a support system coming your way. Now, the king and both of those are emotion, which I find both of them are cups. The King and Queen of Cups. The King of Cups is actually a card that comes up sometimes with networking. Uh, it's not uncommon for the King of Cups to be the person who might introduce you to someone in networking, somebody useful in an emotional state. It's one possibility of this interpretation here, could mean that these people, who genuinely have your best interest at heart, might introduce you to someone who is that new love. Okay. In any event, it definitely seems that if you don't have it right now, there definitely are people who do care about the hard times you've been going through, and they're there to help. Okay. So if that's not true at the moment, that does seem like those people will be entering your life relatively soon. Okay. Was that helpful? Oh, wonderful. Uh, Glad that I was able to help. Uh, oh, I'm going to uh, change the description here and include a link for anyone who got a reading. If you would like to leave an honest review on my Yelp page uh, for Terratonics, I would appreciate that. I've enjoyed being here with you guys, answering your questions through the tarot, and I will aim to do this again soon, at least maybe once a week, because I do enjoy it. Hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.